Hello, English 2 students, and welcome. We have made it to the performance event. So whenever you do take the EOC 2 weeks after we come back from spring break, the first day will be the reading portion of the EOC, which you'll spend the entire time that you're taking the EOC reading prompts similar to the ones we interacted with and answering questions that are similar to the ones that you answered. The next day, you'll come back and you'll be taking the writing portion, or the performance event, as they call it. So the performance event acts as follows. There'll be two stories that they'll give you. One that from a test that you read, from the test that you read the previous day, and another one that is similar. And so they're going to ask you a prompt, and the prompt is going to kind of have two elements to it. Usually it would be like a compare contrast or similarities, differences, or pros and cons. Basically, there'll be two sides to a coin that they'll be asking you to examine between the two prompts. And here's how I would recommend going about writing an essay. So if you want a solid base tip, one that I can guarantee will get a passing grade for this particular prompt, do what I have to say. If you feel like you've got an idea that will knock it out of the park and hit a home run, do that. But gotta keep in mind, these people are grading thousands of essays. They're looking at, they don't have time to go super in depth. They're looking for just the main thing that they want is structure. And what I'm about to tell you is how to obtain that structure. So let's look at what it would actually look like. So, and I actually don't have that pulled up. So let me get that pulled up and then I'll show you what it would actually look like. It's actually not exactly like it because it'll be on computer, but here's what the paper version will be like, and the prompt will be similar. So here's the prompt. You have read two passages about how people would work in different ways to help the environment. Write an essay comparing Ben Clark with the men described in Foundation Builders and discuss the similarities and differences in their efforts to help the environment. Incorporate material from both passages in your essay, citing sources either formally or informally. Your essay should be blended writing of at least two genres: argumentative, expository, and or narrative. So real fast to kind of cut through some of the confusion that they have presented here. This line, don't worry about it. If you write argumentative, you're going to some style parts of expository writing. So don't worry about making sure it's blended. That's just there to that's there to make the English teachers feel like they've done more, for a lack of a better word. So whenever you encounter the prompt, of course, there are like things for you to read throughout the prompt, and they'll be back to back like this. You need to figure out what is the topic, what is the main idea that is at the center of all of this. And so the main idea of this is the environment. The environment is kind of the bigger idea that both of these are kind of talking about, which I'm going to pop back out here and now kind of show you this, how to structure it. So, or if it's backwards. So your introduction is the environment. It's very similar to whenever you did the thematic statement essays. You need to bring it all the way back and just start this essay off talking about the environment. Just generally talking about the environment. It could be something along the lines of, I love spending time outside in the environment, letting the fresh breeze and air, blah, 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 blah. Just start the prompt off talking about the environment. Then in your body, you'll start addressing this right here. So in your body, you're going to address this right here, the similarities and the differences in their efforts. Similarities and the differences in their efforts. So you got to have, this is a basic 5-paragraph essay. So you're going to have 3 body paragraphs. In one of the paragraphs, you're going to talk about both of their similarities. Then another one, you're going to talk about their differences. And then in another one, you're going to talk about their differences. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean this, and I'm going to show you a pre-writing technique that I've shown you before that will help you accomplish this particular essay. So this is the 4-square. As you're aware, you draw a square, lines, 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 and voila, you got yourself a pre-writing tool that you can use. You are allowed to pre-write for this particular essay, or for this particular prompt. In the center square, of course, will represent your introduction. You're going to write the environment, and that would be your introduction. Each of these squares are going to represent your bodies. So your first body or your last body, you can do the similarities, and then you can list out the different ways that the two articles, or the two things you read, were similar. And then the next one you can do about the differences. So Ben Clark was one of them. So you're at write down Ben Clark differences. Ben Clark differences, as you can see right here, and then list the ways that Ben Clark was different than the foundation builders. And then in your final body paragraph, you're going to have the foundation builders like so. And then you're going to list out the ways that foundation builders was different compared to Ben Clark. There you go. Those are all of your body paragraphs. Now, you have to have one last thing, your conclusion. How do you write the conclusion? Well, for the conclusion, it's very simple, kind of like your thematic essay. For your conclusion, all you need to do is just explain how this idea, why this idea is important, how this idea exists in the world today. Why is it important for us to think about this idea? Why is the environment important? Hammer it home. Why is it important for us to take care of the environment? Those are ways to kind of bring it to a conclusion, bring it to a close, show why it's important to our society. There you go. And even though you are going to have a different prompt, if you follow this setup, you should be fine. So introduction, identify the topic, talk about the topic in general. Your bodies, talk about the things that are the things that cross and the things that, and then have a body paragraph dedicated to the things that are similar or the things that are involved in that one side of the coin, and then have a body paragraph dedicated to one article and its differences or how it's opposite or whatever they ask you to do, and then have the final body paragraph be the differences or however you want to do it, and then you conclude it by showing why this topic is important to society today. There you go. So what I want you to do is I want you to write this prompt. Just type up the prompt, submit it, and we'll go from there. All right. Give me your best effort. And if you have any questions, remember to please email me at pdavidson@portagel.k12.mo.us. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.